Tonight on Denver7 News at 6.
We're ready. We've been ready.
Denver tells businesses to line up for 5-star treatment. The decision will put more food on the table and in more ways than one.
It gets more people working.
Denver7 speaks with the father of a suspect in the Gio family murders. Police Chief Paul Payson holds back tears discussing the case.
This case is one of many that I will carry with me throughout my life.
Predators attacked a sleeping giant on Wednesday. Today, the giant woke up.
At some point, there will be a crash.
And she might be the most popular woman in Colorado. It is not by choice.
Once in a while, I'll answer one, and I'll say, please, please quit calling.
Good evening, and thanks for watching Denver7. I'm Jessica Porter in for Ann Trujillo.
I'm Shannon Ogden. Glad you're with us tonight. Denver businesses are about to get their biggest break in months. Mayor Michael Hancock announced today that restaurants and gyms will be able to apply for 5-star status next week.
Requirements will be strict, but businesses are likely to find it's worth the extra trouble. Denver7's Liz Gilardi has tonight's top story.
This is a very tight space down here.
The lunch crowd at La Loma's Denver location isn't what it used to be.
It's been a brutal impact on our staff. I mean, it affects them the most.
If the restaurant is allowed to increase capacity, Mark Brinkerhoff says he will be able to hire more employees back. He could soon have that chance. Denver Mayor Michael Hancock announced the city will begin accepting applications for the 5-star certification program on Tuesday. An approved business will be allowed to operate at 50% capacity.
So the ability to go from 25 to 50 is huge for these operators, and it gets more people working. So it is critical to the recovery of our economy.
Denver's unemployment rate was more than 9% in December, and the mayor hopes this program will be the first step in the city's recovery.
The city of Denver will open up 500 applications in this first round. Every business will have to be visited by an inspector, and it's going to take time.
We're ready. We've been ready.
At La Loma, Brinkerhoff says he's been waiting on this announcement for weeks. The restaurant has another location in Castle Rock where it is already operating under the 5-star program in Douglas County.
They gave us approval, I believe, back in December, and it's been incredible. It's, you know, every little bit helps. And it's not obviously where we would like to be right now, but that's what it is. But it's been a tremendous improvement.
Even though businesses will be able to apply next week, Denver is still waiting on a final approval letter from the state before the program can get underway. Restaurant owners say it can't happen soon enough.
We're ready to apply and be a part of that.
Liz Gilardi, Denver7.
Colorado confirmed another 1,400 cases of the virus and 11 deaths today. 700 people are in the hospital tonight. You know, it wasn't long ago that number was approaching 2,000. And the 7-day positivity rate, below 5%. So are we in good enough shape to start loosening restrictions? Probably.
We think we have about as many infectious people right now as we did at the peak in April. So we still have a long ways to go. We're nowhere near where we were this summer. So we still have a lot of work to be done because the vaccine takes about 5 weeks from the first dose until people are fully immune. It's going to be a while before we have enough people vaccinated that we can rely on that alone. So there's going to have to be some measure of behavior and policy to try to control the spread of infections.
2 new strains of the virus were detected in the U.S. today, and doctors agree the best way to protect ourselves from them, just stay vigilant. Let the vaccines do the rest.
85,000 Coloradans are still relying on unemployment benefits to get by. Countless more are hurting. Assistance for the self-employed and gig workers expired with the CARES Act. The program was extended, but the state hasn't been able to make payments because its systems are out of date. The Labor Department told Denver7 today the upgrades are almost complete, and it has started emailing 230,000 Coloradans who may be eligible to reopen their claims. That process could begin as soon as Monday.
The arrest of 3 teenage boys and the murders of a Denver family came as a surprise to all of us, a suspect's father included. Denver7's Patrick Perez spoke with him today. Patrick?
Yeah, Shannon, he was very surprised. Now, we are not going to identify him, but I did speak with him off camera today for about 10 to 15 minutes at his business. He tells me that he had no idea that his son was involved in any of this. He had no clue that it was all unexpected what happened yesterday. He also went on to talk a lot about his family's business, how hard he's worked to build that business so he can provide for his family since arriving here in this country. Now, we do know that yesterday the Denver Police Department did announce the arrest of 3 teens in connection with this deadly fire that happened in August. It killed 5 people, including an infant. And since then, detectives have worked to find out who exactly was behind this. Chief Paul Pazin says he's hopeful that all of this brings the family some bit of closure.
Working tirelessly to solve these cases certainly can help the families, the loved ones, the friends in that healing process. It's just shouldn't happen. It just shouldn't happen.
No, it should not. Police, by the way, have not released the names of the teenage suspects because, of course, they are underage, and they also have not yet shared a motive. We're live in Denver tonight. I'm Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
Patrick, thank you. A second woman has died after being hit by a Denver fire truck. The Honda Civic they were riding in was obliterated Saturday at Spear and Broadway. Denver police have promised a thorough investigation, but say the engine's lights and sirens were on as it crossed the intersection.
The man suspected of shooting 2 people at an Arvada Dollar General has been arrested. Adams County deputies tell us he was arrested last night following a standoff with a SWAT team. An arrest also made tonight in the shooting of a 3-year-old girl outside a Little Caesars on Federal Boulevard. 19-year-old Guadalupe Villanueva was taken into custody in El Paso, Texas this week. The child he's accused of shooting is still in the hospital a month later. She is expected to survive. Police say Villanueva started shooting because he was upset over the child's father taking photos of his car, which was parked in a handicapped spot.
The calls are rarely from the same number, but they all have the same effect. They're driving an Arvada woman to her wit's end. Contact Denver 7's Lance Hernandez has her story.
About 15 a day, 20 a day. Yeah, it's a lot.
Esther Rohn, like many Coloradans, is sick and tired of robocalls. She started jotting down the incoming numbers a year and a half ago and now has a list with thousands of numbers.
It's just irritating sometimes, and I don't understand how they can do it, how they can get away with it.
Rohn says the constant calls are like an invasion of personal space.
There's nothing I can do except just don't answer.
But the calls keep coming.
Once in a while I'll answer one and I'll say, please quit calling. I'm getting tired of running for the phone.
Rohn's daughter says she spent time online trying to get the numbers blocked, to no avail.
It's such a feeling of invasion of property. I feel like they're harming my mother and I can't do anything about it.
You don't know the number? Don't answer.
Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser calls robocalls a scourge.
I'm appalled that anyone, particularly an older Coloradan, is going to be subject to this harassment, this waste of time, this annoyance. In some cases, they can be scary too.
He says no-call lists aren't very effective because many calls are from scammers and many from outside the U.S. He says blocking technology is much better with cell phones than landlines. They can show up as scam risk.
You have a landline number and you can't get the protections against robocalls and you're besieged by robocalls. Your choice is, are you willing to port your number to a cell phone so you keep the number but can get the protections that we have on cell phones but that you might not be getting landlines?
If you're going to keep your landline, prepare to let it ring. Lance Hernandez, Denver 7.
Colorado is following President Biden's lead and reopening its healthcare exchange market. The system reopens on February 8th and closes again in mid-May. Your coverage will begin on the first day of the following month.
All employees of a Colorado Springs high school will have to reapply for their jobs at the end of the semester. Mitchell High is considered a chronic underperformer. A spokesperson told KKTV changes have been needed for some time now. Okay, on Wednesday, Reddit took on Wall Street. We have to admit for a moment it looked like they might win.
Hedge funds suffered major losses. We're talking billions. Companies like GameStop and Nokia were being traded like giants. The tactics were simple by market standards. Take a business that people are betting against and drive up the value. In theory, the losses would be limited to the wealthy investors who were betting on those same companies to fail.
But tonight it appears Reddit underestimated its adversary. GameStop's value has climbed and fallen from great heights, and that led Robinhood, that's a day trading app, to restrict trading.
Republicans and Democrats, as ideologically opposed as Ted Cruz and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, cried foul over the decision. At least one lawsuit was filed. A state lawmaker said he wants an investigation.
Most experts, however, say Robinhood was within its rights. They also worry this story will quickly go from a tale of the little guys winning to the little guys losing out.
So there is at some point likely to be a rush to the exits. And in fact, even today's price of GameStop, it's gone down about a third. It's lost about a third of its value today. It's a very dangerous game to be able to time these markets in the short run. And I won't be surprised when a lot of individual investors end up buying at a high price with the euphoria of making easy money and end up selling at a loss.
GameStop's value soared from $4 to $470 over the last 24 hours. It was at 2:30 when transactions were restricted and closed this afternoon at $193.
Will the Broncos enter the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes? Would he even want to come here? We'll talk about it in sports.
This is unbelievable.
Plus, our idea of an office has changed with coronavirus. Maybe that's a good thing.
When you come back to the office, we want you to feel safe and comfortable.
It's milder right now. We have a big warm-up, but then our next chance for snow.
Get Denver 7 news updates on your Alexa-enabled device. Add the Denver 7 news skill in the Alexa app, then say, "Alexa, what's my flash briefing?"